Whether you're standing, moving, sitting, still, what you want to do is focus within the heart for this meditation. I like to use heart focused and heart centered meditations because, in my view, this is where the primary energy of the soul connects with the body. Technically, the soul connects with the body in every place of the body and energy field potentially. But the heart is the main engine. And in fact, there's a spot in the heart that doctors know not to operate on. And the reason that they don't is because usually the patient passes if they touch that spot when they're operating, that there's a place where branches of the heart come together. So the spiritual and the physical combine as one. So we are both, right? We're both the soul coming through the heart and the physical embodiment. And so to achieve that place of stillness and centeredness, initiating that from the heart, in my view, that's the goal of prayer. That's the goal of meditation. That's the goal of the energy worker, working with the energy of the body and the energy of the environment at 0 point. Because a mental framework assists us to have understanding. And the reason a mental framework is beneficial, in my view, is because for many of us, it helps us quiet the mind. So the mind will get quieter when it understands that that's the work it's supposed to do. The mind is like a dog, okay? You know how dogs want to please you and they love you. But the thing is, some dogs, if they're left to their own devices, they can get hyper, they can be agitated, right? And the mind, when it gets hyper or agitated, tends to generate a lot of thoughts to try to calm itself down and intellectual reasoning. And usually what it's doing is just creating in energy, right? It's creating energy. Thoughts are energy. We can't hold them. We can't see them with our eyes. So the mind just creates energy as a distraction from the feelings, the emotional feelings. So the mind and the emotions work together when we're anxious, high-strung, nervous, and etc. That's the first thing, to understand that the mind is a part of this. And what we do is we give the mind a job in the desire to achieve the stillness within and to connect with your own source, the God source, the soul, the living flame of the creator that you are. And so the mind needs a job. Sometimes a dog can be like a German Shepherd dog. And a German Shepherd dog, which I had one of those, there are other dogs that are like German Shepherds as well. They need a job to do. And that's the other way that the mind serves us as human beings, right? It creates jobs for itself to do. And one of those jobs, like a German Shepherd dog, is to protect you. Your mind protects you. And one of the ways that the mind does that is by moderating the emotions, by moderating our ability to access the subconscious. And the subconscious is where we connect with that place of stillness. In my view, the subconscious is like the fabric between us and God, between us and the living soul, between us and the oneness of divinity that we are, divinity meaning of God, and of the one true God, the creator, the source of life, and so on. So the thing about a German Shepherd dog is that if you don't train it, if you don't give it a job to do, it could decide what its job is itself, because then by itself, as a dog, from the perspective of being a dog, is going to decide what its job is. And that may or may not work for you. Like, for example, if a dog, eating your couch doesn't work for you, and the German Shepherd has decided that's its job today, then maybe training the dog would have been less of a hassle, right? Than just letting the dog make its job up because it's just trying to do something. And so with the mind, when you teach the mind that there's a process that you're going to follow, then the mind will comply. But, and this is the important thing, the mind will comply when it understands that you are in control. And what do I mean by that? And control isn't the best word, but I haven't really figured out a better way to say this except for that you embody the truth of who you are when you teach the mind. And, right, that's an up level from control. That's an up level from, well, what it is it's having spiritual dominion, right, in your life. Because then the source of your power is the soul, the living soul that you are, is the light of God that you are. And when you have that connection within, that's when the mind will, and or when you desire it, okay? When you know that you're coming from that place, that's when the mind will relent and sit back and listen and comply. So so you tell the mind and you know within yourself that in this process I'm safe, that in this process, um, I trust that what is in my highest good transpires, what is in my highest health for this physical body, right? That this process supports me being alive. It supports my life. It supports my life joyfully, even, right? It supports the truth of myself stepping forward. And it supports the truth of myself as the soul, right? Living in human form to that I greater embody this aspect of this truth of who I am. And so to do the meditation, right? This is how we begin. We begin by settling the mind through the process that I've just described. And because the mind is the gatekeeper to the emotions, and because the mind is the gatekeeper to the subconscious, this is important. Because when we are in meditation, if we are truly going to connect with the soul level, with the truth of who we are within, then what happens is we open access to the subconscious. And in opening access to the subconscious, that's where our secrets are hidden. That's where the juiciness resides. And usually there's some emotions that are between us and access to the subconscious, right? We already talked about quieting the mind in terms of its ability to generate thoughts. But what about the emotions that can stand in the way, that can cause us to feel discomforts? We apply the stillness to those. And when the emotion comes up, if it's fear and you are safe, in your environment while you're doing this, whether you're sitting, standing, walking, being still, doesn't matter. Okay, but as long as you're physically safe, right, which I assume you are if you're taking the time to listen to YouTube videos and my live, thank you. So we're gonna if a fear emotion comes up, what we're going to do is we're just going to put that outside the the body and field, the sphere of energy that your body and soul generates around the body. So if it's not yours, you put it outside. Okay? If it's yours, you apply the stillness. So if it's yours and an emotion comes up, if an emotion comes up, ask yourself, is this mine? If you have an opening or a loving feeling emit from within, then it's yours and you want to just sort of love it, brush it aside. If you get that it's not yours, you just imagine it goes outside the field. Okay? And then you can have your angels of the highest light there. I like to work with Archangel Michael to do this. And I ask him to collect any energy that I put outside my field and wrap it and take it to its place of highest good. In scripture, this is referred to as the binding, right? Then it's in his dominion, which he is a representative of divine will. So it's in the dominion of divine will to take that energy to its place of highest good and to unwrap it in its time of highest good. And that creates an environment around me that is in alignment with me as a living being, with my highest good. Okay. So the next part of the meditation is to trust within, to have faith and trust, even if you don't think that you have faith or trust, just the process of telling yourself, what comes up for me during meditation or my ability to access the subconscious will be in alignment with my highest good. And what that does, declaring that, makes it so. But the fact is the body and the energy, the human body and energy, this is a living system in which you reside, right? I both reside in this system and I am the system, right? And so this system is always going to work together to promote your life and to do that with love. And that is because at a fundamental basis, this system that is you, right? The human body, the energy field, the life force, which in my view is the living soul, the flame of God that you are that enlivens the body. This system is built from love because it is built from the Most High, right? From the Most High God, from the living creator of, of the universe, by God, basically. Okay, now I want to start, and therefore it's founded in love. I want to start, but I know that I have an alarm set, and I apologize if you just joined. I put my phone, I didn't bring my phone and turn off the alarm. So hold on one sec. I'm just going to go run and get it while my dog shakes. You guys just sit there and focus within to the heart. I'll be right there. Okay, I'm back. Of course, it was right on my desk. For goodness sakes. I just thought, well, I just have to do a shorter one. Okay, let's see here. Let me just turn off the next alarm. Oh, it wasn't even set. Of course. All right, now. Okay, so we talked through setting up for the meditation, and that's important because when you want to be still within and connect within, having the mental understanding sets you up for that. And if there's a thought that comes up, you just, I like to just either love the thought into dissipation, right? So the way that you do that is if you have a thought come up while you're attempting to be still, what you want to do is from the heart, just send it love. And imagine that the thought, right, if this is the thought suddenly emanating, it now sort of departicleizes and its pieces revert to a state of neutral because a thought is putting a charge on energy to have a thought, right? That's to take non physical energy and form it with a charge. And the charge relates with whatever the thought is. So when we send the thought love from the heart, right, from the still place within, that's at the level of connection with soul. And that energy is from a higher dimensional state, and it will take a lower dimensional state and deconstruct it lovingly and transmute that to neutral. Now, if for some reason the thought isn't yours, you feel, or you feel that there's interference somehow in your field, what you want to do is say no. You can say no gently, and then put that outside the field. And then like I said, with the energy that might be yours, not yours, that you put outside the field. I ask Archangel Michael and his legions of the and his I ask Archangel Michael and his angels of the highest light to wrap that and take it to its place of highest good. You can also ask your higher self, soul source connected higher self. You can ask your guardian angels of the highest light. Right? It needs to be at that level of direct from source, direct from God, right? The Most High. And the reason is because what we're doing when we do things like this is we are giving over to divine will what the answers are. And so when we trust and have faith, like I talked about in terms of um, setting up to do the meditation, understanding that the connection with the subconscious will be in your highest good, for example. But the reason that we want to work and direct energy from the place of essentially alignment with divine will, right? Alignment with God's will through you, right? Wow. That's like, when you think of that, wow, am I going to work at that level? Why not? Why wouldn't you work at that level? Right? I mean, if anyway, so I know it was when I finally really clearly understood that concept. That was really something that I was doing that, right? I was aligning. I was working with Archangel Michael, who represents divine will. And you can just say divine will, or you can just say God's will through me. I ask God's will to wrap that and take it to its place of highest good. Um, but the reason that you want to work, in my view, at that level is when you are working from the level of divine will through you, of choosing to align with divine will. What you are doing is you're working from a higher dimensional state in the body. And this is not well understood, okay? So, what I want to explain to you as I have my coffee, you know, in the talk of ascension and in the talk of separations of worlds, what is missing in that is the integration of dimensions. And, you know, The fact is we are living human beings with the ability to embody multiple dimensions at the same time. Yes, we have that in our field. And I'm gonna get to the meditation in a second, but this is yes, this is important, right, for this understanding, is that yeah, that's so beautiful. Thy will be done. Mm, yeah. And so we've already defined thy, right? Because I always want to be clear in my definitions of who God is, right? To the best of my ability, it's almost impossible to actually describe God. But if you've had a spiritual experience where you've communed with that energy, yeah, it's amazing. Ah, it's just, it feels like love, right? Just anyway, we won't go into all that right now. But the living flame, it feels like a living flame within the heart. That's what it felt like for me, a living flame of incredible love. I mean, oh, was really something, and that inspired and motivated me to keep returning to the heart, returning to the heart, returning to the heart, and to understand that that's where the living soul resides, like the and that the living soul represents the living flame of God, and that this connection is alive with us in every moment. And throughout time, right? Throughout our understanding of history, people have experienced visions of, visions that involve divinity, divinity being of God, right? People have seen angels. People have had spiritual experiences. Well, these are of a higher dimensional state, right? So these were human beings embodying a higher dimensional state of being from within the living body, even if it was, 100 years ago, hundreds of years ago, right? During biblical times. So you see that the body has always had this capability. But the thing is, and for me in my younger life, these things only happened, like, suddenly in the moment. Something incredible might happen, or it just might be a breeze, right? That I'm hiking and a breeze passes me, and suddenly I'm just like, "Oh my god," like, God is alive, like, God is real, like, I just felt like the living, that living sense of that energy just, like, seemed like it just brushed my face and and lifted me to this higher state of being while I was out hiking in nature. And, oh gosh. Whew. So in the human body, we can embody multiple dimensions. So in my view, what we do is we bring heaven here, right? Heaven and earth as one. Heaven and earth combined as one. And the way that you do that is by descending the energy of the soul, descending the energy of the higher self into form, the higher self being the soul source connected self, like the closeness between you and your soul. Because think of it this way. First of it, I believe guardian angels are mentioned in the Bible. Um, but but think of it this way. If you were a loving God, right? If you were the loving soul, right? That is the source of you, right? Would you leave yourself here alone? Come on. Right? Look at this crazy world, right? Look at this crazy life. Look at this wild terrain that we all live in. Do you think God would abandon us here, each individual without a living connection back, right, to source, without that ability to say, "Help me"? No loving father, no loving being would do that to another, right? I'm just laughing at myself here. I'm just laughing at myself because for the longest time, I know this might this might sound strange, but for the longest time, boy, it's almost painful to say this. I didn't want to bring, the best of me here. that God, even that God-connected peace, because I thought, "There's no way I'm letting you be here on this planet. It's effing crazy down here in this world." And then I realized that that was really seeing from a lost position. And yeah, yeah, thank you. I'm just thanking my own self, my own soul and God for, I can't even find the right word, not waking me up, not slapping me upside the head and saying, "Hey." But one day what happened was I went to a spiritual seminar, and, it was the first night, we had all gotten there. It was actually about spirit through the body, and there were some amazing people that went to the seminar, and I just ended up with these people. I think there were at least 3 of them. Ah, and, thank you guys, all of you that were there. And what happened was we were sitting there, and this is where I was at, right? I was like, "No, the rest of me is not coming to this crazy planet." And one of them brought in Archangel Michael, one of them one of them, uh, and, it really resonated with me when this person said this to me. And, well, first they started talking about Archangel Michael, and I was aware of Archangel Michael, but I really didn't have a relationship with with divine will. And, what the gentleman to my right at that time, what he said was, he said that Archangel Michael said, "I will stay on the earth until every human soul is redeemed." And of course, I knew he was talking about me as one of those souls. And, I knew that the offer was to bring that rest of myself back to this body and then transform it into connection with, the living God, with the living soul, to transform that back to the truth of who I am. And over the years, what I realized is that those parts of me that I didn't wanna bring back, they actually were stuck in the material of creation. And, that was intense. And so I spent the next 10 years doing that. It was a long journey. So, yeah, that was incredible. And so these experiences have helped me understand that it's okay to be here and that I choose to be here. Because in the process, as I came to understanding, what I came to see is that I deserve to be here now, I'm worthy to be here now, that everything else is a lie, and it's a lie of the forces of darkness, and that my living soul has a divine right to this body and to all that, you know, he wants to do, right? Because it's a neutral energy. All that I choose to do in pure connection with that. And so being still amplifies the choice to continue to connect and say, "Yes, I am that. My body is that. My energy field is that. And I claim dominion over this land, over this earth," right? This seeming earth that is the living human form. And that dominion claim comes direct from the level of my soul, direct from God, direct from the living flame of God through me that is the living soul. Wow. Right? So this has been the 10-year journey for me to teach you a 5-minute meditation. And that's the history of how I learned it and how I came here to do this, and eventually I did go to meditation classes, but what I realized about meditation classes, in general, and I went to, I'm blessed by having one of the facilities near me that is one of the 3 that started. So a bunch of people went to, India in the '60s. They learned how to meditate and they came here and they started meditation facilities in the United States. Well, the thing is when you go to India and you learn to meditate and you come back, unless you've been there for 10 or 20 years, like you don't become a master, right? Unless you already are a master. And hold on one sec, sorry. Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy. How are you doing? How are you doing, honey? Oh, you big sweetie. You okay? Oh, come here. You're okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay. Right here. Good job. Okay? You're okay, all right? You're okay, honey. Yeah. Right here. Right here. Come here. Right here, big guy. You're okay. You're okay, honey. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay, honey. You're okay. Yeah. No, 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 no. Good doggy. Good doggy. Good doggy. Come here. Come on. Come here. Yep, yep. You're all right, big guy, all right? You're all right. You're okay. You're okay. Good dog. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Oh, good boy. All right? Lie down. You're okay. All right? Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's okay. Good dog. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Everything's okay. Oh, goodness. Hold on one sec. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry for the noise. This is not what I thought I would do, rearrange my stuff. Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe that's why. No, that's not right. Okay. Let it out, right? Let all the crap out. Let go of that which is not of you. All right. So, dogs, what can you do? They're just dogs. And they're beautiful and loving. But sometimes they do dog stuff and then they gotta, you know, make you do laundry later in the day. um, actually, you know what I did? I have a fan that goes through the ducts, and so what I did was I put the fan on for the fireworks. So he actually didn't really hear much. I mean, a dog can hear, I guess, anyway because their hearing's so good. But he was calm the entire time, and I was calm the entire time. So I I spent Independence Day being independent. I'll just take a minute and I spent Independence Day just being independent, like I just did my own thing, which was just to relax and enjoy the day and enjoy my home. And um and and you know what? And be quiet, like just try to have quiet. And it was actually really beautiful. I felt really connected with God actually on Independence Day. I mean, much more independent than you be than to embody your soul, right? Your living soul. What a radical choice in this life and in this world. Um, but anyway, uh, my dog had My dog had a health event a year ago, and it was because the neighbor's dog it nope, he was already having it, and then the neighbor's dog attacked him, and thank God for that. I was really mad at first, but then I ended up sending her so much love and blessings because what happened was it got me to get him on a new diet, and he has been so much more healthy ever since, and then I thought, "Well, if it works for him, I'm gonna do it too." And so I've been getting healthier, so that's how God works through us, right? And through others around us. Sometimes it seems like something bad is happening, and yet it turns to our highest good. And let me tell you something, that lady whose dog attacked him, she was in incredible distress, and I couldn't really reach her to talk with her. Some people you just can't connect with them, but what I did do was I prayed for her so many times, and, I don't know if it's helped, but I've prayed for her so many times since then because I couldn't reach her verbally, like, at a human level. I just couldn't connect with her. Um, but anyway, so that's the story of that. So now he's fine, but he had an episode, and now he's okay. Normal dog stuff. Whew, all right, so we've talked through that whole thing, and, you know, um, I just talked about my 10-year journey, and the thing is that sometimes we have to let go of a lot of stuff. We have to let go of things, and my dog just threw up, and, I mean, that's just so perfect because I had to let go of a lot, right? To connect with God. I had to con I to bring God into my life and to align with divine will through me, I had to let go of my attachment to my own thoughts and to thinking that I had the answers in the world, right? For the world and for my world. Um, I had to let go of my desire to generate emotions and to of emotional what I call emotional luxury, okay? Because and yeah, I just actually had a slight feeling of anger about that. "Nope, that's not mine. Put it outside the field." I was thinking about someone one of my close relations. So you put it outside the field. So, um here's the thing, generating an excess of emotions is a luxury, and it's a luxury that too many of us engage in. But anyway, I it's a choice to generate those excess emotions. I'll do a different video on that. But, so, okay, fine. I'll do it now because I can clip it. To generate excess emotions is a choice. When you have an activity, an event, when you're engaging and relating one on one, and basically God brought into my life some very tough stuff where I had to decide, do I want to go into extreme emotions about that, right? And allow that to be created in my field, do it myself, right? Create all those emotions myself, which would create a disastrous outcome here. Or do I want to calm the heck down and make a conscious choice? And by calm the heck down, I'm joking, right? But when the anger, when I'm feeling furious, when the how dare you, when all these emotions come up, what I did was I brought the light of God within me forward and I allowed it to burn the emotions off. And I'm with my mind made the conscious choice. I choose to stop generating that feeling. Right? Because here's the deal. Fear is to tell us that something's wrong and that we need to be aware of something in our environment. So if I generate fear, right, and then I look around and there's actually nothing to be fearful of, I'm physically safe in the moment, then I have to consider, am I generating an excess of fear? And if I am, no more. If it's not mine, I put it outside the field. If it is mine, I make the conscious choice, and then I bring that light of God from within my heart to the fear, and I dissolve it into neutral particles of energy. Yeah, I can do that. And so can you. You can empower yourself to do that. And the most powerful way to do it is to align with God's will through you, to connect with the energy of the soul, to act from there. Same with anger. Anger, the emotion of anger, is to tell us our boundaries might be violated or have been violated or possible. That's possible if I keep going in this direction or keep interacting with a person. That's why anger comes up. If it's not yours, put it outside the field. If it's yours, again, are you safe? Are you in an environment of safety? And maybe by voicing or acting on that anger, you create unsafeness, right? Depending on what or who you're engaging with. But the fact is that's rare. That's rare. Normally, when you're engaging with people, it's a relationship that you have, a family member, a loved one, and then you go into excess with anger, act out, and this damages the relationship over time. And it can take a relationship that seems extremely loving and turn it to dust, and something that's very warped and twisted. And if we only understood that the emotion of anger and all the other emotions and the emotion of fear and all the other emotions are under our conscious control, it's true. And I know it's true because I've lived it. I've done it. I went from uncontrollable anger over years to seemingly uncontrollable to being here now in a state of neutral. And to do that, you've got to let go. Let go of the resentments, let go of you did this, let go of that happened. Just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Nothing's more important than the love between us. Right? Nothing's more important than my love for this person and the fact that I want to show love and I want them to know that love is where I come from. Right? Then there's setting boundaries, right? Because we're all wounded and traumatized here on earth. And to come from a place of love and actually be in neutral with your emotions under control without projecting onto the other person, to be honest, it's a pretty rare state of being. And if you have friends that you can interact with or loved ones you can interact with, from this state of being, count yourself extremely blessed. Because everyone else is stuck in the projection, is stuck in the wildness of emotions, is stuck in the holding on to memory. Right? And that's what creates this crazy world. Okay, so consciously applying the love of the soul is what diffuses the emotions and takes the tangled emotion, right? You apply the love, the pieces fall into the particles of energy that the emotion is, because it's not a physical thing. An emotion can't be seen or held in your hands, right? It's in energy. So the love of the soul from within your own heart, in alignment with divine will, right, and in alignment with the highest good through you, that's what departicleizes that energetic creation. Now, there's also situations where there can be what I call negative portals into the field, and that's a more advanced concept. But applying the love is enough in this moment and in this teaching to deal with that, right? Because you apply the love to that and the portal will close. But I have more detailed teachings on that. And you take the source of the portal and put it outside your field. There you go. All right. Yeah, there you go. I love that. Yeah. I love that statement, Joe. Only by my own divine soul journey. That's so beautiful. I think that God gives us, these words, that our guardian angels, our own soul, which is represented by the higher self in my view, that's the interface that's not subconscious, but that can be spiritually, experienced between us and the soul, who's actually not above, but within. Okay, so finally, let's do the meditation. And the meditation is this is just going to be short because, as I said at the beginning, whether you're standing, walking, sitting, physically still, one should be able to connect with this place. So, it within the body. So, that's why I want to do a short meditation because it's important to be able to do this throughout the day because meditation is a word I'm using for something that is actually the living connection with the soul, the conscious, living, prayerful, active connection with God, with your own soul, with the living source of your life, right? Um, so so I'm using the word meditation for that, but in truth, because I remember being a Tibetan monk and being a Japanese Buddhist monk, this is at the highest levels of that. This is what they are doing. They're not just sitting in an ashram, putting their thoughts outside their field or dissolving them or whatever. Okay, that's the basic level, people. This is the basic level of meditation. Okay, but when you do that and you connect with the soul, and if you're meditating over time, this is most likely going to happen, but you connect with that living flame of God within the heart, right? Within the physical heart. It evolves into something that is much greater. And that is why the Tibetan monks could transmute into a rainbow body. And that's why so many of them did. And they had a mission of keeping this capability alive on Earth, right? They did this for us. And so God bless them. And God bless that person that I was at the time because, they got, their people were often massacred for that, violet flame over that. But it didn't matter, right? They just kept going. They just kept going. Right? The living flame of the soul is eternal, keeps reincarnating here, keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. Why? Because as I mentioned, that the gentleman told me that Archangel Michael spoke to him, but I felt the resonance and the presence of divine will in that moment, you know, that that we aren't alone here, right? God is here present with us until we are redeemed, right? Until we return. And as living human beings, we can actually choose to make that return to the greatest extent that we can as living human beings. We can make that return while we are alive. And it's incredible. It's incredible. And I believe that in the stories of Jesus, this is what he was trying to tell us, right? Why else would he say, what I have done, this you can do and more? Why would he say that? How was he able to do that, right? Because he literally embodied what I've been discussing, in my view, 100%, in every way that that would be possible for a human, in ways beyond my own knowing, right? He did that. And he said we could do it. And therefore, in my view, my human life is not about ascending and becoming an angel, right? Ooh, ascend out of the body. No, to me, that's a cop out. Now, it might not be a cop out for you. For you, that might be, your ultimate, spiritual goal. And if it is, I honor your choice, okay? But for me, I'm bringing it here. And the reason why is I know darn well with my stubborn personality that if I actually did ascend to be an angel, all I'd want to do is come back here and help Earth again in human form, right? I mean, for goodness sakes, how many times are we going to do this? Apparently, many, as long as it takes, as I was told, right? By divine will. Right? So why would I have the goal of leaving when I could be here now, where I could bring God to the earth by bringing the soul to the living body, the living soul to the living body, and lighten it up within and my energy field. Because once you do this, incredible miracles of creation occur, right? Now, I have heard stories from friends of mine that have achieved these states while alive. I'm not saying that they achieve it in every single moment of their life, but that have experienced living and being at this state, you know, and all of them said, well, the ones that achieved it told me that the laws of physics changed for them. And I understand the physics of that from deep study over many years, and that this is true. Once you shift to align with the living soul within the body and begin to transform your body, you shift out of magnetism. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute when I talk about the Schumann resonance in a few minutes, because this process that I am teaching right now, it relates to the magnetism shifting on Earth. Yes, it's that important. And I'm literally that bold to say that. And because why hold it in any longer? Right? What's the benefit of keeping that to myself any longer? There's no benefit. And why hide my light under a bushel, right? It's so interesting that all the light workers for years hid their lights under a bushel, and I understand why they did that, and I understand why I did that. But Jesus, when he talked about, now I can't remember the whole parable right now, but he told the parable of those who put their light under the bushel. He said, "Why would you hide your light under a bushel? It makes no sense." Right? I'm paraphrasing here. Somebody in here knows that phrase, knows that parable. But he was exhorting us by saying that didn't make sense to bring the light out. So I'm going to explain to you about that when I talk about the Schumann resonance. Okay, so here's a short meditation to connect within. Okay, I am going to use music for this, but obviously, if you're walking and acting or in the middle of work, you wouldn't be doing that. But you could have it in your being. All right, so breathe. Let's breathe. I feel so blessed. So focus within. Put your attention on the heart. Ask to connect with the living soul. Imagine a loving time. Imagine a memory of love. Or feel the love within your heart. Or know that this is possible and it is there. And breathe. Yes, you can put the fingers at the heart the palm of the hand, and breathe deeply. Allow it to flow out into your body, but not beyond the field, into the body, into the energy field, but allow it to stay in the sphere of energy around your form. Let God handle the rest. Let God handle what's outside of you. Know that those outside of you have God within them and can direct themselves from that level, whether you think they're doing that or not, right? God within them is their power. Fill the body with this love. Let it gently flow to the limbs, into the head, into the brain, connecting with the pineal, flowing down into the abdomen, filling the abdomen, activating the will. Into the limbs, the arms, the hands, the legs, the pelvis, the calves, the feet, the wellspring into the center of the foot, straight into the center of the earth, your home, the planet. The same light of God that is the light of your soul connects with you in the center of the earth, the same soul that you are. Let's come back up. Focus on the heart, the soul. In your mind's eye, look up to the sun, or in the physical, the sun in the sky, the source of life for the physical world, the source of God, the source of the soul that you are, enlivening the physical body. Feel the love in the sun as well for you. Bring your attention back to center. I am. I am the living soul in this human form. I am my body. I am the light. I am this living energy field from a source in my heart of my soul. I command and love it all that I am, all that is within me. And I bless all that I am. I bless my body. I love my body. I bless my field. I love my field. I love me. I apply that love to the conscious me that I am. And as me, as the consciousness that I am, I allow myself to receive the love of my soul that is eternal, that is me, yet that is far greater than what I am in this moment than who I am in this moment. I know that I am a drop in the pond. I am a drop in the ocean. And the ocean loves me because it is mine. It is my soul. It is here for me. I'm not alone. It's always present. It's always knowing. It's always experiencing. It's always being with me and being here with love. Love for me. Love for my human experience. Love for who I am with compassion, with non-judgment, with understanding, and with love. My conscious choice to align, my conscious invitation is what invites this to commune with me more actively in the moment, to be felt by me in my presence. I feel that love now. I feel the presence, and I invite that in. I invite the presence of my soul. I am the presence of my soul. We are one. I understand that just the feeling of unconditional love is that living soul, is the connection with God. And that can feel as neutral and yet as the most incredible love I've ever felt within my form. It can feel like a wave. It can feel like the ocean. And it can feel like incredible, transforming, transmuting, loving fire. The fire and flame of the Holy Spirit, yes. It's one way of calling it. The living flame of God within. And breathe. I know that this is me in the moment within my heart, my soul, the unconditional love, the quiet space within. It's present in me now. If I'm sitting, if I'm working, if I'm standing, just being, sitting, talking with a friend, listening to my loved one. Here I am, the living soul, loving being me, loving my human experience, me sitting, loving, me standing, loving, me walking, doing, loving. This is who I am. Be still within and know that I am God, says God, says the soul. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that experience. Wow. Ooh, that was something. Now, I want to tell you that what I saw in the moment was, a Tibetan monk in Tibet. Oh my god, his location is beautiful. Doing the meditation with us, with me, speaking, and I can even right now, I can still see the temple, and I'm looking out at these incredible mountains. Ooh, gosh, that was amazing. Oh. So thank you to those of you who are here because you've inspired me to do this and to share. So, your presence is invaluable here. So I want you to understand that, that this is a living co-creation, right? With God. I'm doing that with God in my soul. You're working with God in your soul. And then we come together as living, energetically sovereign beings. And then we make the conscious choice to come together. We're all equals, right? The living soul within us is present and creates the sovereignty that we are. The sovereign is the king or the queen, right? The sovereign is God within. So when you say that you're a sovereign being, a living, sovereign, energetically sovereign being, um, it's because God is your sovereign within the heart. The living soul is the sovereign, right? And so when we align with the soul and we act and work from there, it's a wordless place. Me, the human being, does not generate the ideas. Me, the human being, does not generate the emotions. I can have emotions about what's going on, like seeing the monk, sitting. I see him. There's an open square, as there are in temples. There's the U shape of the temple, and I see it. It's almost like it looks out over a cliff, and then I see the mountain across the ravine. There's something to the left that's land that I could walk on, I guess, if I wanted. Um, but I can have emotions about that, or I can have emotions about the love flowing into my physical form, into my body. But those emotions are generated by the body. Right? But what directs me is divine will. How do I know what that is in the moment? It's not spoken. In my experience, it's not spoken and not emotions. And everyone's experience is unique. So my experience might not be your experience. You might completely experience it differently. But how I experience the initial connection is as an impulse. Okay? Whether I turn that into words or not is another matter, right? So the thoughts that I have, um, the thoughts that I have, um, that are generated from within the human form that are mine, that's different than the impulse, right? What I do is I take that impulse and then I translate it into the experience in the physical form. The impulse is at a level that's beyond words. I call this also light packets of information. And so that's communication at a higher dimensional state, right? With the energy of the divinity that you are in a multidimensional state, communicating with the higher dimensions. It's like that. And it can also be in other ways. Many times I receive images because I'm an image person. I mean, maybe you're an auditory person. Maybe you're a felt person. Maybe you do perceive it through the emotions because I have friends that do that or have told me that they've done that. Maybe it's just a knowing. I don't know what the answers are here because it's personal to you. I'm making suggestions, but I don't know if any of them are right because for me, it's like an impulse, and then I check into it, is that aligned with God's will through me? And I check in through body felt sense, through body confirmation, right? Which we all have. If I check in through body confirmation, then I know my mind isn't, distorting divinity, and my emotions aren't distorting divinity. My body clearly allows the transmission of the message. In Tibet, you are. See, I knew someone was in Tibet from here. Sneaky, sneaky. I'm teasing about the sneakiness. Wink. Yeah, yeah. But, but the monk that I'm communicating with is, as I described, right? I think it's probably yeah, a deep connection. Yeah, exactly. Deep connection, but, yeah. I don't merge energies with people, right? I don't do that. And the reason that I don't do that is I'm not going to go into it because I've talked enough about energy, but I honor you as a living, energetic, sovereign being. Thank you. That was awesome, friends. Okay, so what I want to do now, oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, thank you for all your comments. Wow. Jeez, I just feel so blessed by your presence. Really, really mean that, all of you. Yeah. Okay, so it's funny, I just have to laugh at myself because having remembered, knowing that I was a Tibetan monk and Buddhist monk, but I was a man, and now I'm like this little woman in the Western world. I just have to laugh. I just have to laugh at myself, like, I just have to laugh, at the changing of the forms, that we are. So it's so interesting. But I have my notes here now because I'd like to talk with you about the Schumann resonance, and I just want to add some things. I haven't done a video lately, and the reason that I haven't done a video in a few days, sometimes I get like writer's block for videos. And I've got a deep process going on within because this communicating about energy is really my mission. And so I think about, how do I bring that forward? How do I express that in terms of the human resonance? And sometimes it's just sitting within me like that divine impulse doesn't actually pulse. You know what I'm saying? It's just present within. And and sometimes I just sort of have to wait for the energy. And so to those of you who might be missing my videos, I apologize for that, but I have to go with the flow on that. Now, is there discipline and work? Yes. And maybe if I was a man in this lifetime, I'd be more oriented towards that because I feel like when I'm in a male lifetime, that's more, that's whatever. So I don't know. I'm not a man in this lifetime, so I wouldn't know, I guess. But I feel like that's a very male energy, and I'm embodying the feminine right now. Um, but although I remember the male memories, and sometimes I have flashes of that, of feeling the man being male, Um, so, so what I wanted to talk about with the Schumann resonance is to go back to the amazing pattern that occurred on the Schumann. And I want to hit some key points because, gosh, things are just coming up very quickly. And what's happening is I'm being served up experiences and videos that match with my theories, uh, that I have, whether internally or that I have spoken in my videos about the phenomenon on the Schumann resonance chart. And so in my recent videos, I've discussed why the phenomenon might have occurred in Russia at the Russia station only, and that was related to magnetism and the moving of magnetism on the Earth, and that's related to iron in the center of the planet, and that's related to heat, and that's related to heat moving, which happens to be that towards Russia